just because it happens once doesn't mean we gotta do it again. Welcome to the Triple Take. I'm Joseph.
I'm Manny.
And I'm Frank.
And I don't know what it is, because sometimes, you grow up, you got the classics. They are what they are for a reason. Why do we always gotta bring it back? Why you always gotta redo? Why you gotta remake what's gold? It makes no sense to me. Sometimes it's a waste of money.
Wait a minute. He's missing a key detail here.
Key detail.
Why do we gotta make it live action? That's the real question. I'm getting tired of this. And this is one of those things that I'm very, very pissed off at. Because I watched How to Train Your Dragon. That was the same movie! It was the same thing! It had changed!
You know what?
I spent $13 to watch it in real life! Who cares?
You missed out because you didn't watch it in 40x.
That
40X
was the
was fire.
only justification for watching it.
I agree.
Was to watch it in 40x.
I agree. That's why I did it, and it was awesome.
My wallet.
I already been to Epic
felt
Universe.
sorry for me.
I already been to Epic Universe. I don't need to go on the How to Train Your Dragon ride. I already went on it.
But
I spent $15 instead of $300. Call me a saver. Call me a monetary financial.
I think the word is frugal. Okay.
I save my sand dollars.
either way, to live action.
Man.
Another one, Lilo and Stitch.
I felt like was even less of a.
They changed it up a little bit, but it's not better than the original. I have not watched a live action remake of something that is on par with the original at all. Nothing has come even close. Lion King? No. What? What else was there? Snow White? They did it 5 times and it still didn't work.
And I watched none of them.
Actually, I'm wrong. I just lied. A canon event. I just lied.
1080p? Caught in 1080p? What?
101 Dalmatians in live action was actually kind of fire.
Yes.
I'll give it that. It
You
was
are correct.
I just got caught in 4K. I caught myself, though.
So wait, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, because I'm assuming we're talking about the original source is animated to live action.
Well, I was just going with animated to live action because I just wanted to break it down a little bit and then get to, video games to live action.
No, that's a whole different thing. Bro.
Well, that's a different thing, because then that's when
we'll
you
get
start
to that.
getting into the weird sense of remake on remake on remake. At the end of the day, even for a good majority of all the Disney projects that they've had animated to live action, at the same time those animated movies are a remake of themselves, because realistically most of them come from very old school folklore stories that simple pen and paper, then they bring them to a beautiful wonder of animation, which again, that's its own art form, and trying to transcribe or transpose that into a different form, granted still a movie, but to bring that into live action, a lot of the times you're losing the overall that mesmerizing sense that animation has, versus just bringing it to live action. At the same time, it's cool to see things come to life, essentially, but at the same time, there's that wondrous disparity of that fictional fantasy aspect of it that you kind of get out of animation, where you just don't get in real life. Because if I'm going to look at a singing lion in real life, they could only express so much with that face of them. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's animated, you could do whatever you want, right? But if you take an actual animal and just give it expressions, it looks like an acid trip, to be honest. Let's be real.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The whole thing with the Lion King, it's they called it live action, but it's just it's really just realistic animation. Because,
it's just CGI.
There's no way to make that live action.
Hey, man.
The only thing good that came from that were the remixes to the original songs with Donald Glover, Beyonce, and all those things. I still like the originals though, but they were
the
cool
originals
remixes.
were better.
Yeah, but they were cool remixes. You can't lie, they weren't bad. I'm just saying that was the best thing that came from it.
Look, one of the other animated Disney movies that turned into live action that a lot of people were negative on. I'm one of those people because again, it's can't go past the original. The Little Mermaid. That girl That girl could sing her booty off. I don't know her name, but she sang amazing. And it's the fact that the movie could not hold up at all. I understand that you know, you want to bring these stories back.
Halle Bailey.
and- Halle Berry.
Bailey.
You know what's crazy? I wanted to say Halle Berry, but I know that was wrong.
I was like, Halle Berry? She's
Yo,
not that
okay.
young.
So I was pretty close.
I don't know if it's Halle or Haley,
It's
but
Haley.
last name
It's,
is
it's
Bailey.
Haley. It's Haley.
After you
her
said
name
it clicked.
Wait a minute. Her name is Haley Bailey? It rhymes?
You
Father and Mother of the Year. Either way, back to the mouse.
Megatron.
Back to the mouse, because I have a problem with you, mouse, and I'm talking about you, Mickey.
For a second,
Because I gotta
I
stop
for a
seeing.
second.
I gotta stop seeing these freaking people take one of the great stories and then put them into live action, and for some strange reason, hire writers or directors who basically look like they never even watched the original. Like, what are we doing? Like the Snow White. Oh my God, Rachel Zelger, whatever her name is. I don't remember your name. I'm so sorry. And Gal Gadot. That was horrendous. That might be the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Like, War of Worlds came out, and I'm waiting to watch that one with Ice Cube. And that is apparently the worst movie ever made.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw
Snow-
the trailer.
guess
I saw
what?
the trailer to that. That looked terrible.
Guess what? Snow White, you're
That looked
competing.
terrible.
You're in the running. I don't understand where
Yo.
where it goes wrong, because How to Train Your Dragon literally was just copy and paste. It was it
Well,
was basically the same.
to the extent, because I don't really want to bash How to Train Your Dragon that much, because I watched it. I didn't watch it.
You're a
40
fanboy. You're a fanboy.
I liked
It's
it.
okay, it's okay,
No.
it's okay.
But then again, I
You're a
watched it in
fanboy.
40.
I mean,
Yes.
I am a fan of the franchise. Don't get me wrong.
I know. Protect
But-
your franchise, man. Stand up on business.
In terms of how that project was put together, the person that created the animated movies was the director that led the whole project as a whole. So he knew the story ins out, grounds up, right? Because you can't really say, what are they going to do, like, take the anime, make it live action, and change it up? But for the most part, you saying it's the same movie is kind of contradictory to what you're trying to say. First off.
I literally said that in the beginning. I'm just saying. I literally said it's the same movie. I paid $13 to watch real people do what the animated people did.
But either which way, even if you have people, right, to that point.
They stole my money.
I'm getting to that point.
I don't even know
I'm
the
getting there.
actor's name, but he stole my money. Yo, best marketing ever. All you had to do was show me Toothless, and I was in. Woo!
Anyway, but you kind of get that, like, business concept of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And at the same time, it's like, hey, this is our best product, or one of our best products, right? And you just give a variation of it. Chances are people are gonna buy it to a degree, right? Such as us all watching the same movie again. And how many times you're gonna have people, and you have people, like, I'm gonna use Manny as an example. How many times has he rewatched any given movie?
I have rewatched. I think the movie I've rewatched the most is Man on Fire. I've watched that in double digits. I don't know how many times, but I know it's in double digits.
Okay. So let's just say, for the sake of posterity, that if you watched it in theaters 20 times, and the ticket cost $13, $15, watch it in 4X, $30, or something like that.
I'm like,
Hey.
we're like 20, 22.
Like
Relax.
most people are gonna get popcorn, so round it up to 30. But 30
We
times
aren't
20,
those people. Who got
Well, either
popcorn?
which-
On the next episode. Oh,
Who got popcorn?
who got popcorn? Last time I checked, I got a cheeseburger.
Who has high cholesterol?
I got a cheeseburger, and it was a high school cheeseburger. I got gypped.
Okay, first off, we got gypped. Because I got one too. But either which way, you're taking essentially the same product, making a variation of it, and people are just going to go buy it. People will like watching a movie, they'll rewatch it, and they'll rewatch the same thing years later if you give them a different variation. Realistically speaking. Such as, and me taking it away from like live action to animated remakes, but you get entire franchises that get remade. A recent example of,
Mummy.
in the 80s, no, use something else. In the 80s, you were presented with a cartoon called Transformers, right? And you had the multiple different versions of the cartoon that came out over the years.
Spittin',
Obviously,
spittin'.
this franchise has made millions upon basically billions off of toys, off of the different shows on their own. Then come 2007, the first ever live action Transformer movie come out. Granted,
So
So
good.
far.
It was a good movie. It was a great movie, especially
Good
in the
days,
realm
man.
of special effects.
That was a movie that deserved to be remade as a live action movie.
Something like that, right?
Yeah, but okay, so where's
Not
the
Lilo
limit?
and Stitch.
Where's the
not
limit?
Lion King.
Let me get to my point to reinforcing what I said earlier. At the end of the day, even though the live action Transformer movies by Michael Bay, they're not the best. Yeah, the first one, great. Second one, third one, it was pretty good. Fourth and fifth,
Whoa. Pause, dude. What did you just say?
First
you
one
just
was
say
good.
Revenge of the Fallen was bad?
It wasn't the best, is what I'm saying.
No, you said this is kind of bad. That's what you said.
It was kind
You
of bad.
just said that. Wait
Yo.
a minute. No. Don't you dare. No. Revenge of the Fallen was mid. It wasn't bad and it wasn't good. It was mid. I will not take any
I agree.
Revenge of the Fallen slander.
Okay, so the same way that I felt being underneath a giant robot's nuts. Okay, think about that. Yes, Frank, don't forget about the demolition ball nuts. He doesn't remember. You remember the robot licking? Remember that robot tongue?
Got him.
Either
Got
which
him.
way. Either
The
which
Nut
way.
Panther.
But then the fourth and the fifth one, people pan them as not being the best. Either which way, holistically as a franchise,
Horrible.
those sets of movies have made billions of dollars.
Make things blow up and it's cool.
Millions. They did not make a billion. Millions.
He's being
As a
over
franchise?
No, you're talking about the movies 4 and 5. They made millions, not
I
billions.
said as a
No,
franchise.
no. He's talking about as a whole.
Oh, as a whole, yes.
Yeah.
As a whole, yes. Those movies have made that.
He
But it
literally just
doesn't.
said as a franchise.
But it still doesn't justify where the line is of where
Okay.
do you stop
Hold on.
when making
Right.
live action movies.
I think
Either which way, as a franchise, right, being remade into live action, into their own thing, collectively, ending in November 2024, have grossed over $5.29 billion across this planet. Obviously, if people could do that with one franchise, they're gonna try to milk out that much money out of every possible franchise they could think of. Same way a bunch of Hollywood studios or just movie studios in general will be making movies out of every crack of their butt, to be honest, about any idea. They're like, ooh, money. Like Mr. Krabs. Let's be real.
no, but I mean, I agree with Joseph. Like, I mean, we talked about this topic before about it's a product to them, so that you're gonna keep pushing out their product like as many times as humanly possible to get the most money.
Okay, so this is my argument when it comes to the animated, and then we'll move on to the other types of live action movies that get
I
remade
really hope
into
I
there.
get to say my point.
I just want to say this real quick.
I just want to make
I got
sure that's known. That I haven't said nothing about it yet.
It's okay.
There has to be some type of line drawn in where it should be. Enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? When I watch something that is a live action remake, I shouldn't feel like the director and the writers have not even sniffed, nor smelled, nor looked at the original
missing.
content.
See that, but that's where Joseph was saying that you're kind of being contradictory because you say that that's a bad thing, but then you also say it's a bad.
What's a good remake?
Yeah.
Not a problem. I came prepared. Not a problem, my good sir.
Whoa. Maybe not what is a good remake, more like what makes a good remake.
Okay.
I'm sure you're gonna answer that with what is a good remake. Hopefully,
So, what is a good remake?
yeah.
What makes one is you still have the original source material, but you bend it without bending it too far.
Okay, an example would be
Many people are gonna hate this, but it was a terrible movie altogether because of the writing for it. But
Wait
the
a
Mummy, they did the Mummy justice, in my opinion. The villain was great. They just wrote it terribly. I'm talking about the one with Tom Cruise.
Okay, I didn't watch that.
The Mummy in that movie, the villain, the antagonist, was really good in that movie. They just wrote Tom Cruise terribly. Was an interesting story. But they grabbed the aspects of the original first Mummy with the powers and everything of that and mixed it into the antagonist of the Tom Cruise one. That's my example. That's where you make a remake. You bend it a little bit, but not bend it too far, and don't keep it in a straight line.
okay. I think when it comes to like remakes, because when we're talking about remakes, we're talking about that the original, at least my understanding, that the original, they get it from the book, they make the movie, animated or live, right? And then the remake is not based necessarily off the book, but off the movie or animated movie that they made off the book.
And essentially, you kind of want it to be its own adaptation,
Yeah,
but hold true to the source material.
exactly. You know what's a really great example actually that we'll all agree was better than the original?
Infinity War.
No. Wait, what? Wait, what? Why Infinity War?
Because you said book, so I was ready to spit once you said book. Because that is true to the source material in the sense of they followed the track, but bent it a little bit.
But that's not a remake.
Technically, it's a remake of a comic book.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Like a remake, that's not a remake.
You said book.
That's why I would say you'd want to use the word adaptation.
Yeah. I guess that would be a better way to describe it. But like that's kind of still the same thing of taking it from. But like I say, a remake specifically is not based off the book necessarily, but based off the adaptation of the book, or like they're connecting it to that. But when it comes to what was I going with that? Oh, actually, a really good example that we would all agree that the remake is way better is Dune. Dune is a great example. The original adaptation is hilarious. Actually great
to watch it
for the time. Because like the way they did the effects and stuff, granted it was hilarious. Watching it now is hilarious.
Especially
but back
with
then,
some of the practical stuff they did, especially with the whole invasion stadium thing. Crazy what you could do with a camera and some little props.
And that was closer to. Is a closer adaptation to the actual like book, right? From what I remember, but it didn't do that well compared to Dune now, right?
It's
Granted,
exploding. Exploding.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like now they're going like based off of they already got it planned out for various movies across span of years. It has its own franchise by now, and it only has 2 movies. And the whole franchise built out. Like I said, like it really depends on the situation when it comes to like the remake, at least for me, because it depends on the story, Transformers, and it depends on what the original adaptation was like, right? Because obviously the original adaptation, even though it followed the source material well, it's still, because of the time, it was not capable of encapsulating the story at its fullest. So that's when a remake became not really necessary or essential, but it kind of gave it the space to be made and be fleshed out even more, right? Especially since they didn't even hit any of the books past the first one in the original movie, right? As far as I know, I'm not really sure. But when it comes to the worst remake of all time, I'll have to ask Manny if he thinks that Snow White is worse than Dragon Ball Evolution. Cause you said the worst movie you've ever seen. I've been putting that in my pocket. If it's that bad, that's pretty bad.
Honestly,
that's pretty bad.
I will say this, and I will watch the movies and get back to you. But I'll take Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh heck, no way, bro. It's not real. You're lying.
I'm just being real. So, real quick, I have some examples of, live action, from animated to live action, that I wanted to present to the people that would be examples for what Frank was trying to say. And the first, I just wanted to let this be known. You can cut this out if you want. Don't you dare slander this movie! Don't you dare! This is an amazing piece of work.
I enjoy the entire franchise, even the worst ones. I didn't say that was the worst movie. I'm saying, critically speaking, people say it sucks.
Blank those people.
I usually don't agree with critically.
But my first example, no one can tell me that these weren't fire. These were James Gunn.
That was a good remake.
These were James Gunn's work. This was fire. Example number 2. You cannot tell me this isn't a classic. All right.
I was wondering what he was doing when he walked away.
I may be in the minority here, but this was fire.
Peter Pan. I don't remember that one.
Nobody does, but this was good. I promise.
I forgot how it was, but I remember I liked.
But those 3 examples that I just gave follow the source material about Looney Tunes, Peter Pan, and the story of Scooby-Doo, but they bend it in a certain way, and it came out phenomenal. But when you bend it too far, at least for me as a fan of these movies that you're remaking, I lose interest when you take it a different route and the route is completely off, or you don't do justice to the predecessor, and that harms your movie. That, to me, that's just my opinion.
So I feel like I think we're agreeing here where like it really depends on the story. Like if, like I said, all those movies that you mentioned, yes, they were adaptations. There were remakes of adaptations, but at the same time, the original stories and even the adaptations themselves are very broad concepts. Like they don't have specific things that made the movie. It was more like the movies or the adaptations pointed to specific parts of their story, where it's like there was a lot more that they could have told that they just didn't because they couldn't because of the medium. Whereas they could expand upon it in the remake or touch a different aspect of it, like specifically Scooby-Doo. Like it's all about their mysteries, right? And like you don't really see their origin. For as far as I remember, you don't see their origin like in their so it's like it's an aspect that the originals didn't touch on, but is a part of their story, and you can keep the same type of vibe. The remake was able to touch upon a point that the other ones didn't, but even though it wasn't true specifically 1-to-1, they were able to capture the same vibe, right? Same thing with Peter Pan. It's a folktale, whatever. Yeah, that one's a little bit more like what you're talking about because it covers the same type of aspect of like, oh, they get the kids, blah blah blah, right? Like the whole aspect of it. But it, like I said, like it's so broad in the way that they can do it that, and the story itself is they can make it their own very easily. Whereas something like The Little Mermaid is very specific on why people liked it, you know? Like the way it worked, I don't know much. I don't really like My Little Mermaid, if I'm being honest. But as far as I've seen in doctors' offices when I was a child in the waiting room and at school, it's very specific. Same thing with Aladdin. Aladdin's the same way. Like they really had to make it as close to the original as possible to make it good, because they couldn't go too far away from what it was originally, because then it would take away from what actually made it good to people that watched it.
Fair. I agree.
Like
I agree with most of what you said. Yeah.
So it's really just a story. Like, how can you expand upon the story? If you can't expand upon the story or add an element to it and that live action would provide, then don't do it. But they will do it because people are enamored with the product, with the brand, with the name, that they'll spend money just to at least witness it. Same thing with Lilo and Stitch. There's not much else you can add that the movie and the show didn't. Unless you do like after they're older, which would be weird.
Lilo goes to college.
In
like
space.
no, it just doesn't make sense.
All right. So moving away from animated, I want to talk real quick about video game adaptations, video game to live action. And I brought something just so that way I could piss off Joseph real quick. Remember this?
Yep. Man, is that the worst video game adaptation as a movie, bro?
No.
What is?
There's worse. Hi, Joseph. What is the worst?
Which
I never seen Doom.
it's a guilty
I heard it's
pleasure. Okay, first off, before I move off of Doom had one saving grace, which was the one first-person scene that they had. That was like the best part of the movie. You know, taking a whole chance on slicing these weird, not really demonic demon things that only went after people based off of DNA for some stupid reason. If you're a demon, go after people. Don't go. What does anyone's that demon was racist. That's what they were. They were racist. But I digress. And this franchise of movies based off of a video game is a weird, guilty pleasure for me. The Resident Evil movies were horrible, but I like them for some weird reason.
Manny doesn't think they're horrible though. I never watched them. I never cared about Resident Evil.
I never seen the last one, but if I ever had
I remember that a lot of people like the animated ones, like the CG, the 3D.
Oh yeah,
CGI
but that's at
ones.
least set in the actual like game world.
Yeah.
So for
So
the
which ones
Resident
you're
Evil
talking about? The
movies,
live action ones?
correct, the live action.
Oh, I didn't know that. Damn, but what about Devil May Cry?
There was a live action movie.
No. Wait, was there?
I don't know.
No,
I
it
I've
went-
never
never
played
mind,
the
it went from
games
video game.
or watched the movies. You went to
Or from
anime.
video game to animated. There's been so many games. What is it?
You got all 6 of them?
Don't you dare say this was garbage. This was the first one, and it was good.
I
Care
know
what you
it
say.
was.
I don't care what you say.
I agree.
This was good.
I agree. It's
you
the
dare.
last one that kills me.
Dare say this one was bad either.
That one was
could have
really
been
good,
better.
actually.
It could have
that one was really good. The action in that movie was fire.
Don't say this one was bad. It
That one was
wasn't. This one was good.
Okay, but we could agree they did my boy. I like that one. They did my boy Nemesis a little dirty though.
This one.
If you're gonna say that one's trash, put your face in the fucking middle.
That's how I feel about that one. From the first 3 movies of Resident Evil were great, in my opinion. Once the fourth one came out, and then they kept going with it, horrendous.
Why is
They
it?
took it a little too far. It took it a little too far.
Look, at
They
the
had
end of the
gold. They had
were making
gold,
money.
and guess what? Guess what? They turned gold into copper.
Because unfortunately, when it comes to things
Booty.
like this, when it
I
comes
can
to
use
things
copper.
like
I
this,
can't use booty. Frank, you're gay.
Depends on who you ask, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I'm just saying, like, another man's trash is another man's treasure. But either way, either way, that's the unfortunate part of these companies. It's a product. They're gonna keep going until they flop. There's no reason for them to stop.
They were flopping
Until
and
they
they
flop.
continued.
No. I'm talking about after the third one. The third one. You know what I'm saying? Like, the third one is like, oh, like, they're not gonna say, oh, we're ending it on a good one. They're just like, all right, let's see how far we could take this before they get tired of it. Fast and the Furious.
It was
Fast
the-
and the Furious.
But
it was the.
Fast and the Furious.
This is the ending. Let's not do anything about this ending and skip later.
Because they
here's
don't
the
care.
thing. Here's the
They don't
thing.
care about
Here's
the
the thing
story.
with video game movies. For me, video game movies are 30-70. 30% of them work out, 70% of them don't.
Why?
Because obviously, Sonic worked. Sonic worked.
Forgot about
right?
that, true.
Resident Evil, I just showed you. 3 of these movies were great. Right? You have another video
Uncharted.
game in Uncharted. That was
Was
the one I was
really
saying.
good.
It was really
Tomb
good.
Raider?
Uncharted was really good, bro.
Tomb Raider was really good.
Tomb Raider
but
was
then
really good,
you can almost see the difference when you start getting into what I believe is the worst video game adaptation. Assassin's Creed.
That was pretty bad, bro.
Magneto, you did me dirty, fam. You did me dirty. You want to know why? I wasn't a fan of Assassin's Creed, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to watch this movie. You don't want to know why? Because maybe I'll play the game. You know what you made me do? Want to burn the game.
But see, look, that's when we get into the sense of, like, it wasn't the story, it wasn't the IP, it was the people that made it that did a terrible job.
I
Like-
could easily tell you.
Bro, Assassin's Creed as a movie would be fire.
Like, how to explain it? Like, for example, franchises from video games to live action that have done well. Fallout.
Oh yeah, it's a great one.
Everyone loves that show, but it's not necessarily based on the game.
No,
At the
it's
very
just
least,
the concept.
in
Yeah.
the sense of like an adaptation and staying true to the source material, you get the nuclear wasteland or graveyard that people refer to it as, which is the world of Fallout, right? That world has its rules, it has its lore. It shouldn't be too hard to create your own story that could fit in that world. The same way,
Same way Twisted Metal does.
It's another one. I was about to say that.
I haven't seen it. I should watch it eventually.
I think you would like it a lot, Joseph, actually.
Considering I love the franchise, yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't watched. I thought you watched it with Manny. Like at the same time.
I'm
I
not
watched it
with
with
him.
my pops.
No,
I was
not
not
with
there.
him. Like around the same time is what I was.
My pops enjoyed it. Didn't even know it was a game.
No one will after watching that. No one would think that was a game because it was just looked like its own thing. That's what Joseph is talking about. Like it stands on its own. Doesn't need
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah, no. Fallout. Joseph has a perfect thing. Fallout, Twisted Metal. I'm not gonna lie, I was a fan of the Halo series before they canceled it.
I mean, you can say Resident Evil in the first 3 movies. No, I'm pretty sure most people that watched Resident Evil, the first 3 movies, didn't know it was a video game.
Most of them, yeah, probably.
Yeah,
But then
that's what I'm saying.
to
it's just an action
kind
movie.
of like in terms of me being a fan of Assassin's Creed the games, right? An easy way to really fix the movie. Granted, I haven't seen the movie, but in terms of how Fallout did their interpretation, you have the lore, through human DNA accessing genetic memories found. Like, it's a simple concept to do. Whichever time frame you take the movie, whatever culture, that concept with the Animus is very applicable. You could have just taken a sense of time, a time period, an era that wasn't present in the game. Could have been some other assassin that has ties to the actual organization without directly putting itself into the game and not having the game directly put itself into the
Yeah,
movie.
the
If it's
concept.
indirect, it will just work. It is its own closed story, just a part of
Yeah.
a bigger world. That's all.
Because
It really should
what
be.
made the original so good was that they tied the Animus thing, the things you did in the Animus into the real life when you got out of it.
Yeah.
That's what made, in my opinion, that's what made the Assassin's Creed fire, right? But a quick point as well, like, and it goes with what you're saying, is that and that's why people like the whole thing about getting the concept and like the lore of it. That's why people are so excited for something like Elden Ring to get like an anime or a live action adaptation. Even live action, it will be fire. Like you can do anything with Elden Ring because the story is so broad and expansive and that's so deep that you can literally take anything from it and it would be good, right? Depending on what type of adaptation you want to make is what you take, right? But and I would even say I don't even know if there was a movie about this, but like I think Joseph might agree, like something like BioShock would be fire as a live action adaptation. I think it would be.
They tried.
They messed up Borderlands. They messed up Borderlands.
Nah,
I don't even
Borderlands.
want to try that.
Borderlands was a fumble that they didn't. It didn't need to be like that. They just fumbled it just because it felt like it. At that point, I'm not gonna lie.
But to
That's
Frank's
why.
point,
It's basically Mad Max. Like how you fumble that, but funnier. It's Mad Max, but funnier. Like it's literally what it is.
I would agree. And then to like Frank's point, again, yep, the world of BioShock, presumably having it take place in Rapture, probably in like the underbelly of Rapture, and just having its own enclosed story with the whole broken societal hierarchy that Rapture ended up developing with its own set of characters with their own vendetta with each other. I'm more than happy with that. You don't have to talk about the whole Andrew Ryan, like the actual story that takes place in the game. No, reference it, sure, but don't like hold it to such a T where it has to be exactly the same. Because depending
Space,
on what...
bro.
Ooh, don't get me them.
Dead Space live action?
They
What?
do it like Doom.
No, it'd be like Alien Romulus, bro.
But the only thing with this type of with this conversation is it just depends on what medium you're transposing to the other. Because just because you're going off of a book, within a movie, it could take you a week to read a book or months. But a book is a book. To enclose that
Better.
in a 2-hour movie? To enclose an entire book in a 2-hour movie is nigh impossible. You're going to get things cut out. Similarly to a game. I'm playing Elden Ring. I have 160 hours in Elden Ring and I'm still not done. How are you going to condense my experience in a 2-hour movie? You can't. The closest thing you can do that is putting it as a show, sure. But even still, you're not going to get a whole 160-hour show. Depending on what episode, what story, what arc you're going through. It's just not feasible. But at the end of the day, if people are going to make interpretation of this stuff, they need to have fans of said media to contribute. Because ain't no way you're just going to be a producer and just be like, do this to make me money. And then you have people, and I'm going to use the Flash movie as an example, who's never really read the comics, who's never read any of the source material.
You could
But
tell
yet-
by the way he ran.
But yet, you're putting people responsible for such titles, for such IPs, for such a project beloved by fans, where you're going to get your money. How are you going to do a disservice to the people that hold such IPs to such a standard close to their heart? Star Wars as an example. Transformers, Resident Evil, the games have been going on for years. Doom, revolutionized first-person shooters. Why is it so hard to make a movie about a guy angry as hell against demons for killing his rabbit? Simple concept. Why can't you execute it?
Bro, John Wick.
But with demons.
Literally. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even think about it like that. But yeah, that's literally what it is.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents. I've said enough.
So, with
Give me
all
a
that
job.
being said,
How about that? Give me a job. I'll make it happen.
with all that being said, and the anger being spewed, we have this question to all of you. Should everything be live action? Or when is enough? Enough. I'm Manny.
I'm Frank.
I need a job. I'm Joseph.
Don't forget to like down below. Don't forget to comment, share, tell your homies about us. We are the 3 best going in the game. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Join the Discord. Join in the conversation. Follow us on Instagram. And make sure you always and forever
Peace.